He was her life and everything. Even though she knew he never cared about her, she never stopped loving him. He kept cheating on her and she knew it. But she loved him too much to leave him. She thought that it was her fault that he didn't love her anymore. So she started punishing herself. He is the arrogant, careless billionaire. He has everything he wants. He knows that he has a wife who loves him so much, but that doesn't stop him from sleeping with other girls. One thing he doesn't know is that he is not only breaking her but him too. This story is about Damon Salvatore and his unwanted wife Nina. Welcome to our channel. If you like interesting and touching love stories, come to our channel. Here, Emma will bring you stories full of surprises, emotions, and excitement. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any interesting stories. Let's enjoy it together. Damon and Nina were childhood sweethearts. They had been together for a long time. All of their friends used to say that they were couple goals. Damon proposed her when they were in college, and after some years they got married. Nina was so happy. She thought that it was their happy ending, but she was so wrong. It was just the start of her miserable life. Damon married Nina because that's the way of life. He liked Nina from his school life and she was his habit. But the truth is that Damon never wanted to marry her. One day, something happened and Nina misunderstood that Damon was proposing to her. But he couldn't say that he was not proposing. He could never really say that he never wanted to marry her. He actually never wanted to marry anyone. But now here he was married to Nina. Honestly, it was not as worst as he thought it to be. It was even pleasant to him at times. Nina was definitely an amazing wife. She made sure she took care of him. But as time went, Damon couldn't control his selfish nature and started cheating on Nina. It was not like he did not love Nina, he did. But for him it was okay to have mistress because that's the way life should go. Now after 2 years of their marriage, Nina was used to this life. Alcohol was her friend now. It helped her to forget the sorrow. She has no idea how her marriage turned into this disaster. Sometimes she cuts her wrists with her favorite blades because it makes her numb and she likes that numbness. Damon came back home after weeks. He had a 5-foot o'clock shadow on his face. His hair also not set the usual way. He looked messy but devilishly handsome. But he was definitely looking exhausted. He came in front of Nina and said, "Hey, I'm gonna go and take a shower," and then left the room. Nina kept looking at the carpet where he was standing. Nina missed him terribly the whole time. She had been waiting for him so eagerly. But now, when he is finally here, he didn't give her a proper glance. He just came and found an excuse to face her. Nina took a deep breath to calm herself. She didn't want to cry now. She was already so tired of crying. She went to the bedroom and took Damon's discharged shirt. She could clearly smell a lady's perfume on it, which was definitely not hers. A tear fell from her eye as she took the clothes for cleaning. Nina was now sitting on the couch with a glass of wine in her hands. She was almost drunk now. She looked at the glass, pointed her finger at it as if it was a person and asked, "Am I that bad?" She became a little angry as she got no answer from the glass. So she asked again, "Come on. Tell me, am I that bad?" Soon she was shouting, crying, and cursing herself for being so bad. She remembered the time when Damon didn't even want her to go on day trips with her girlfriends. But there was this one time, when Nina desperately wanted to go on the trip, so she went there without informing Damon. After reaching to the picnic spot, she had told him about the trip. After hearing that she went to the trip, Damon did not say another word to her on the phone. Nina was really scared about what Damon's reaction would be when she goes back. She made a different excuses in her head, as she had imagined different scenarios. But when she finally came back, she was shocked to see Damon waiting for her in front of her hostel. Before she could even say anything, Damon had ran to her and hugged her so tightly that Nina really forgot all the excuses that she wanted to give. After a long hug, Nina felt something wet on her shoulder, and she was shocked to see that it was Damon's tears. That day, for the first time, she saw Damon cry. Damon was full on crying while hugging her with everything he had, as if his life depended on her. And the same night, as they made love to each other, Damon told her how much he missed her the whole day and why she should never do this to him again. That day, Nina felt like if Damon asked the world to her, she would have given it to him. That day she promised herself that she would never leave him like that again. Nina let out a harsh chuckle at herself as she remembered all those memories. She realized how ironically the situations have taken turn now. Now she barely gets to see Damon. Damon doesn't even care about her whereabouts. Heck, he doesn't even look at her properly. Last week she became really sick and felt very helpless. She didn't know what to do. She had called him twice and at last she could hear his voice that sounded like he was drunk. In the background she could also hear a faint lady voice. After that she just didn't feel like telling him that she was not feeling well. She just cut the call and called her housemate to come and help her. She didn't really know what to do with her life anymore. She didn't know where their relationship was going. Maybe it would end soon. But the thing is that she couldn't forget her promise. She couldn't forget that night when Damon cried like crazy, just because he couldn't find her for some time. She couldn't forget that moment where Damon begged her never to go anywhere without letting him know first. She just couldn't. But she knew that Damon has long forgotten all his promises. He didn't even care about cleaning himself to get the mistress smell off his shirt before coming to his wife. She could see her husband coming out of the shower. He had a towel wrapped around his torso. Little water droplets were dripping from his body. She could clearly see the tattoo on his back. The tattoo which he made for her on her birthday. Ina couldn't believe that she has finally turned 18. She finally of a legal age. Her friends threw her a surprise party. All her friends were wishing her happy birthday and pressuring her to have her first drink. Yes, before that she had never had a drink. Even though all her friends used to drink in front of her, she never did. She always waited for her to get 18 first. In the crowd of people in the party, her eyes were only finding one particular person. But he was nowhere to be seen. She was really becoming sad now. She wondered if Damon has forgotten her birthday. Nina tried to stay calm as she did not want to ruin the mood of the party. But she just could not enjoy or have her first drink without Damon beside her. Nina excused herself from the crowd and came to a less crowded place. She was almost on the verge of crying. She was hated what a huge crybaby she is. She couldn't believe that she was going to cry on her 18th birthday. She felt a huge fat tear coming out of her eyes when suddenly he heard, "Why the fuck is my girl crying on her birthday?" Nina jumped and looked back. It was none other than her Damon standing in front of her. Nina didn't say a word and just ran to his arms. But to her horror, when she was giving him a tight hug, he felt him flinch in her touch. Nina removed her hands from him and asked him confusingly why he flinched like that. Damon did not give her a direct answer. He first told her to remove his shirt. Nina was really confused by his answer. But she did what he said. When she finally had removed his shirt, she was surprised to see the letter N engraved on his back. She couldn't believe her eyes. She really couldn't believe that Damon made a tattoo of her name on his back. To her that was the best gift ever. That night she also had her first drink while sitting beside Damon. Damon was really concerned about her drinking for the first time. He had sure that she had plenty of food and water before having the drinks. After drinking 3 glasses of red wine, Nina finally went to sleep in Damon's arms. She didn't bother about anything because she knew Damon would definitely carry her to her house and make sure she was okay. Nina kept drinking red wine as she thought of all those memories. The last thing she remembered was falling asleep on the couch. But when she woke up, she found herself warm and comfortable on the bed. He came home after weeks. He was really tired now. He was in one of his farmhouse with Mona for some weeks. She was his new mistress. He had to admit that girl was a real slut. He had met her at a party. The girl was begging for his attention from the second she noticed him. She was clinging to him from the first moment. Honestly, Damon was now really hating her clinginess. He doesn't even know why he slept with her for the first time. Mona is nothing like Nina. She is not as sweet or loving as her. Damon knows that she is only here for money. Every time he sleeps with her, he can only imagine Nina in his mind. At this point he doesn't even know why he keeps cheating on Nina. He's still stuck over the fact that he didn't want the marriage to happen. But he couldn't even tell her that he was not proposing to her. Not after seeing her happy face. Not after seeing the rays of hope in her eyes. But deep down he feels that the decision of marrying her has affected the lives of both him and Nina. After the marriage he has not been an ideal husband. He has slept with multiple women. He does not even know whom should he blame. He does not blame himself and he can never blame Nina for it. Damon got out of his car and entered the house. One of the maid greeted him and then he saw Nina come in front of him. She breathing a little fast, and it looked like as if she had ran here to see him. He looked at her and noticed she had dark circles under her eyes. Her once plump lips was now looked so dry, but she still managed to look so beautiful. He could not look at her for too long because it gave him a weird feeling which he could not describe or name. Maybe he did not want to name that feeling for the sake of his own happiness, for his own selfish nature. "I'm gonna take a shower," he said, and left the room. When he was in the shower, he could hear Nina's voice faintly. He opened the door a little bit and heard Nina screaming, "Am I that bad?" again and again. From her voice, he could guess that she was drunk again. Suddenly he felt so guilty he was doing this to her. He was the one putting her in all the pain. He was the one that made her feel unwanted. But then his pride came in the way. He tried to erase the feeling of regret from his mind so that he doesn't feel guilty. "I am not forcing her to live with me. It's her own choice," he thought to himself. After some time he could not hear her voice anymore. He got out of the shower and started to pick his pajamas. He could feel her eyes on her back. He knew that she was eyeing his tattoo on the back. He clearly remembers the day when he got that tattoo. That day was her 18th birthday. But he had totally forgotten that it was her birthday. In fact, he was sleeping with another girl when one of Nina's friends called him and asked why he was not at the party yet. That day he felt like an asshole for forgetting her birthday. He knew how excited Nina was for her 18th birthday. She was planning to get drunk for the first time on her birthday. And the thought that she may be getting drunk for the first time while sitting with someone else drove him to madness. He would kill if he saw anyone trying to take advantage of her drunken state. But he didn't have any gift to give to her. Suddenly he had a plan. He went to the tattoo maker in his neighborhood and told him to tattoo the letter N on his back. He couldn't think of a better gift for Nina. When he finally went to Nina's birthday party, when Nina jumped into his arms after seeing him, her hand directly hit with the newly done tattoo on his back. He flinched because of the pain. Nina was surprised to see him flinch like that. Then he told her to remove his shirt. And when Nina finally saw the tattoo on his back, she was so happy. Damon surely had a little pain on his back, but it was all worth it. After that, Nina had her first drink. But she did not stop after her first drink and drank 2 more glasses of red wine. Damon wanted to stop her. But then he felt like it's her 18th birthday, so she should do whatever she feels like doing. After her 3rd drink she became completely drunk. Drunk Nina amused Damon greatly. Nina drunkenly kept telling Damon how much she loves her. At last she went to sleep on his arms and he drove her home and tucked her to bed while he slept on the sofa of her room. Damon smiled a little as he recalled what a cute reaction Nina gave after having her first drink. He went to the living room and saw that Nina was asleep on the couch. He sighed and picked her up in his arms, and he was so surprised with her light weight. She weighed almost as a feather. That made him really worried. Is she not eating or is she sick? Why she did not tell me if she was sick? He thought as he carried her to the bed. Damon looked at Nina's face as he tucked her with the blanket. She looked so fragile yet so beautiful. He silently lied beside her and held her to his arms. He has slept with so many women, but he never felt this peace anyone else but her. He closed his eyes as sleep consumed him.